One of the teams that I've been very stoked to talk about on this channel is the Florida Panthers, hands down. At the beginning of this month, I made a TikTok on the Florida Panthers talking about their insane February, but I never really went too much in depth. This team has so many factors that play into them that you can't even go into all of them in a 3-minute segment. Now, for those who do not have TikTok, without going into the players, let's do a basic overview of how their January went. It was a roaring January, to say the least. They had a 12-1-1 record in January, tied for the best in franchise history. They scored 70 goals in that time period. That is unbelievable. And they've scored 5+ goals on their opponents 10 different times. The amazing thing, too, is that whenever situation you put them in, they'll usually come out on top. For example, they play the Dallas Stars on a Friday night. They win 7-1. You're like, all right, that's a good win. They play the Columbus Blue Jackets the next night at home. You may think, okay, well, I mean, although they're a worse team, sure, we're probably going to slack and maybe we'll lose the game. Maybe we'll come out on top, but I'm not expecting a blowout. And you know what they do? Instead of not just blowing the Blue Jackets out of the water, they score 9 goals doing so. Now look, I understand the Dallas Stars and the Blue Jackets are kind of two mediocre, mid-tier teams when you look at teams in the league. When you add those totals up, you get a combined 16 goals in 24 hours. And I don't care what teams you do it against, whether you do it against Arizona and Montreal or Carolina and Tampa. That is still unbelievable. Now that being said, let's take a look at the forwards who have been scoring those goals. Now, you might think that the Florida Panthers have one guy really scoring all the goals, but no. Nobody on that team has more than 21 goals. That is just simply incredible when you're scoring 70 goals in a month and you don't even have a guy above 25 goals. And that really shows how good this team is built. That means that every player on every line can be relied on, where if they need a goal scored, any player on any line can score the goal. Now, their high-flying forwards consist of Jonathan Huberdeau, who is first for Panthers scoring, and is having kind of a Hart-caliber season when you look at it. 47 games played, 17 goals, 47 assists for 64 points. A heavily underrated player. He's definitely top 10 this season, maybe even top 5. You can argue it. Sam Reinhart, in addition, from Buffalo. He's a new player this season, and he's done really good as well. 44 games played, 16 goals, 28 assists for 48 points. Alexander Barkov there as well. He was signed to a big contract at the beginning of the season, and he's looked really good so far. 34 games played, 21 goals, 19 assists for 40 points. As you can tell, he missed some games there with injury. And that really just scratches the surface of the forwards who have been really producing this season, including Carter Verhaeghe, Sam Bennett, and Mason Marchment, who had an 8-point game earlier this season. We could talk about forwards all day, but another thing that's been pretty amazing is the shutdown defense that this team has. Obviously, Aaron Ekblad leaves all defensive totals for the Panthers right now. 46 games played, 10 goals, 31 assists for 41 points. He's been stellar. He's easily one of the most underrated defensemen in the NHL, and it's said that he doesn't get a Norris, mainly because of guys like Makar, Hedman, McAvoy, those guys rise up above him. It's really unfortunate, as well as that Mackenzie Weegar, who's been a little bit down this season, but still producing decently. 47 games played, 4 goals, 23 assists for 27 points. And then Radko Gudas, here's another point. You need players that can fight. You need players that can lay physicality. And Radko Gudas has been doing just that. 45 games played, only 11 points, and all of those are assists. He has 57 penalty minutes. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, a lot of those are from fights. It's crazy how a depth player who's not really thought of can have a big impact on a team like the Panthers. Now, one of the biggest things that we have not talked about yet is the goaltending. And a contract that looked like one of the worst in the NHL is now turning itself around. We all know Sergei Bobrovsky left the Columbus Blue Jackets in 2019 to pursue dreams with the Florida Panthers, looking at a Stanley Cup. They brought in many different players to try and amp this team up to win. The first year of Bobrovsky's contract was pretty meh. The second year was a little bit better, but still wasn't the level that he was getting paid at. I would argue that this season has been that season. 32 games played, 23 4-3 with a 2.56 goals against average, a .920 save percentage, but only one shutout, and that kind of surprised me. They only have one shutout this season, and that kind of shocked me, to be honest with you. But with how much he's getting paid, it's good to see Bobrovsky putting up those numbers. And you got to think, maybe he'll get some Vezina contemplation there. It's just a little something to think about there. And I've talked about the Vezina race before, and it's looked very entertaining so far this season. Now, one of the last things I want to talk about in regards to players is the young boys. Even though this team has a lot of middle age and kind of older players, there are still young players on the team who are kind of making runs and kind of causing conversations for the Calder Trophy. Now, for the Calder, I'm specifically talking about Anton Lundell. He has 43 games played, has 10 goals, 22 assists for 32 points. That's pretty good when you look at a team like the Panthers. You know, they're overshadowed, but Lundell's really put up the points this season as a rookie. Spencer Knight there, he's not technically a rookie, I don't think, but he's still playing solid. 18 games played, 9-6-2, a 3.22 goals against average, and a .898 save percentage. Not as good as Bobrovsky, but that isn't bad. It's just good to see that this team will have young players for many years to come. Now, the last thing I want to do in this video is compare them to the other 4 teams that are top 5 in the league with them. First off, the Carolina Hurricanes. They're 32-11-3. Aho's their leading scorer with 48 points. Do I think they could beat the Canes? That'd be a competitive series, though. I really enjoy that. The Colorado Avalanche, 34-8-4. Kadri's their leading scorer with 62 points. I honestly feel like the Avalanche are a level above everyone, including the Carolina Hurricanes, which I've stated before they could very well win the Cup. I still think that the Avalanche probably beat the Panthers, if I'm being honest with you. Look at Tampa, 31-11-6. Stamkos, their leading scorer with 54 points. I would have said last year that Tampa would beat Florida, but now I feel like Florida could very well outbeat Tampa. Look at Pittsburgh there. I feel like Pittsburgh's kind of a level below all these teams. 30-11-8. Getzel's their leading scorer with 50 points. Although I do agree they're a very underrated team, I just don't really see them making a run at the Cup. Now look, maybe the Cup is a bit of an overstatement for the Florida Panthers. I feel like maybe this season, at least right now, they should try and get past the first round. It's been a long time since they did that, so maybe they should focus on that first. But I mean, hey, go big or go home. Now, nonetheless, the Florida Panthers have been a very intriguing and very entertaining team this season. They have many players you can like in the lines of Alexander Barkov, Sam Bennett, Jonathan Huberdeau, Aaron Ekblad, just to name a few. Gotta give big credit to Bill Zito. He's been one of the best GMs I've ever seen when it comes to constructing a team. Every single move, or just about every single move that he's done, has worked out in his favor. And I'm very intrigued to see what the Florida Panthers can do not only this season, but beyond. Anyways, guys, that'll do it for this video. If you guys want to see some more Florida Panthers related videos, I have not made too much on here, but I have made some. You can take a look at that on the eye icon right here to show you all my Florida Panthers videos ever made on this channel. Thank y'all for watching. For us personally, I really do appreciate you guys could subscribe. That'd be great. I would love to see some new Florida Panthers fans in the chat. Let me know your favorite part about the Panthers in the comments below. Thank y'all for watching once again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.